What's up, everybody? It's your boy B. Scott with the Philadelphia Eagles. I just want to thank you all for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe to the show and leave a 5-star rating. Fly, Eagles, fly.
This is a Brawl Network production.
We're talking about practice, man.
You're listening to Philly Sports with Giovanni.
It felt really good to prove to everybody, but not only that, prove to ourselves that we had great potential. And through the year, we just kept passing tests and passing tests. And eventually, we were the team to beat.
Here's the man, the myth, the legend, Giovanni Hamilton.
Hey guys, welcome back to Philly Sports with Giovanni. It's your host Giovanni, and it's a special episode. Today I have the Blue Meanie.
How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
Good. Like I was saying pre-show, I did my hair green just for you.
Yeah.
I threw on my Jerome Brown jersey, and I'm sure you got one of these too. I got my Super Bowl ring.
Yep, I got that one too.
I saw a Jerome Brown one I almost bought, but I don't think they had my size because I got big, fat baby hands. So,
all right, let's dive into this game, man. It was scary at the beginning. It was kind of nerve-wracking at first, but then at the end, it got better. It seemed like when Carson Wentz ran for 40 yards. That's what kick-started everything. And, you know, I think that's what kick-started everything. What's your opinion?
I think Carson's a really good quarterback, and the Eagles really have not done enough to protect him, really. But I will say this. It seems, I don't know if you ever saw the movie Groundhog's Day, but it seems like last season and this season are mirror seasons.
Yeah.
Last season, Carson didn't play one snap in the preseason. This season, there was no preseason. So, Carson started a little slow last season, had a little bit of rust because he didn't play in any preseason games.
Yeah.
And now, with no preseason at all and no OTAs and all that stuff, I think everything is just a little bit rusty. And it's just like our friends who are boxers, and they say it takes them one good shot in the mouth before they can find themselves comfortable enough in the fight to get into a groove. And I think that's what happened with the Eagles. I think they come out a little bit cold. They might still have a little bit of rust, but I think it takes them getting hit a couple times, and then they find their groove. And I think Carson's been really good with freelancing a lot of his playing and just playing on the fly. And like my buddy Ike Reese says, he let the Bronco buck. So, yeah, they always seem to get off to a slow start. I wish they would play like 2 quarters in the parking lot or something just to get warm,
Yeah.
and then go into the game. But yeah, it just takes them a little while to get warmed up, and yeah, that seems to be the trend. But they're trending in the right way.
Yeah, I think after this Thursday night game that after we hopefully win this game, we'll get into a groove and we'll start winning more games. I'm excited for the Giants game. I think it's gonna be a win, and I'm excited to see Travis Fulgham. That guy, he is the next GOAT. He is going to be an awesome dude. What are your thoughts on Travis Fulgham?
I think when it comes to Travis Fulgham, sometimes you have to. There's a saying. Excuse me. Sometimes you have to experience the sour to taste, appreciate the sweet. And right now, we're tasting the sour with all the injuries. Deshaun's down, Alshon's down. But here comes this diamond in the rough, this Travis Fulgham. I mean, where'd he come from? God bless the two teams who let him go and let us find him, because I think him and Carson are finding finding some chemistry.
Yep.
They're finding the chemistry, and he goes up for the ball. He catches with his hands. He doesn't let it hit his body. He's got great hands, and that catch he did in between two defenders was amazing. And then between Carson breaking free and getting the ball to him, and him being fearless with two defenders right there, he went right up and got him and didn't even blink. So I think just like last year with Ward Jr. and Boston Scott, I think we found another good wide receiver, another young player that, they haven't been drafted too well, but I think, they found something special with him. And then now with hopefully Reagor coming back soon, you have a good squad there with Ward. You have Fulgham, Boston Scott, Miles Sanders. Now if we could just, get somebody in there to help on defense or get another offensive line. Mailata's been playing really good.
Yep.
He stepped up. I think they're a couple pieces away from – they have to get away from some of the older players.
Yep. And
get a guy like Travis Fulgham and give them opportunities. Those guys are hungry. So.
Yep. I think we gotta run with the new guys. Run with the rookies. I think that'll do a lot of good. And I just want to say, if we win this Thursday night game, we take top of our division.
Yeah.
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 And, yeah. That I think we're going to take top of our division and we're going to hold it. We're going to stay there.
It's a double-edged sword here because you want to do well, but you don't want to be the best of the worst. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh, we're the best of the worst division. So
Yeah.
we're the best of the stinkers. But hey, I want the team to win. I want them to. All you have to do is get in the door of the playoffs, and then anything can happen from there. And all you have to do is win this crummy division. But I think they could beat the Giants. I like the Eagles' chances this coming into this season because our three divisional rivals all have new coaches and new systems and stuff like that. Where we've had Doug for the last couple of years, who the players respect and work hard for, and Doug always goes to bat for his players. He doesn't throw anybody under the bus and stuff like that. But yeah, man, I think they're definitely going to win against the Giants. And I think they go on a nice little run there. And you're seeing sparks of them getting into motion. It's just they fall a little bit short right at the last second,
Yeah. Which they've been falling short just a little bit for the past few games, and I think that they're going to overcome that in this game. So, moving on from football, I want to know a little bit about you.
Okay.
How did you get into wrestling?
I got into wrestling. I was about 8 years old, and I had a friend named Sean, and I went over to his house. I was like, "Hey, Sean, you want to come over to my house and watch the Phillies game?" He goes, "I can't. I'm watching wrestling." I go, "What's wrestling?" So I went over his house and watched wrestling, and I was hooked ever since. And it's pro wrestling, being a wrestler, is something I've always wanted to be, always wanted to do. And a lot of people were like, "Oh, that's cute," because growing up, I was a severe asthmatic, and I spent a lot of my childhood in the hospital, in and out, like every fall and every spring, and because I couldn't breathe. So telling people growing up I wanted to be a wrestler, they thought I was crazy. So eventually I found the right doctors, and they got my lungs in working condition. And after high school, I started saving up my money, and I went to work, and I put all my money away for wrestling tuition. And then once I got wrestling tuition, I saved all my money and started saving for living expenses. And then in 1994, I drove to Lima, Ohio, and started my career training with Al Snow from the WWE. Well, he wasn't in WWE yet, but he was finding his way, and he was my big brother. He helped train me to become a professional wrestler.
That's really cool. What is your favorite wrestling move?
Well, my favorite wrestling move, I have a couple specialty maneuvers. My finishing maneuver it's called the meanie salt. It's a moonsault, but I call it the meanie salt, which is basically a backflip off the top rope onto my opponent, and I pin them 1, 2, 3. And now, if I can't get to that move, I usually like to do a move called the DDT, which I stole from Jake the Snake Roberts. But I could do the DDT and then set up for the meanie salt, and then a lot of it, growing up, that's a move I always wanted to do. Guys like Bam Bam Bigelow used to do that move, and they were big guys, and I'm a big guy, so I was like, I gotta do that move. And that move got me noticed for ECW when I started my career.
That's really cool. I really like watching wrestling, and especially the old matches, because there is a ton of there's still action in the new matches, but there was like a lot of action in the old matches, and it's really cool that you got to wrestle.
Dude, you're a kid after my heart, talking about the old time wrestling, because that's what I grew up on. I started watching wrestling in 1982, and all through high school, all through grade school, all through high school, I was the wrestling nerd. In my yearbook, people would write "Good luck in WWE" because they knew I was crazy about wrestling. And then once I got into wrestling, a lot of my friends from high school were like, "I know that guy." So it's like it was kind of cool to get to live a dream and stuff like that, and get into wrestling. I still do it, but not as much. It still hurts. So
yeah. Who was your favorite wrestler, and who inspired you to wrestle?
Oh my dude, that's I draw inspiration from everywhere. There's so many great wrestlers when I was growing up. My first world champion was Bob Backlund. When I first started watching, he was the world champion. But then you grow up, and then I start liking Tito Santana, Superfly Jimmy Snuka. When I was in high school, then you see Bret the Hitman Hart, and the Great Muta. And Great Muta is another guy who inspired me to do the backflip off the top rope. So as far as inspiration, definitely Great Muta was an inspiration to do the backflip off the top rope, and Bam Bam Bigelow, because he was such a big guy and he was so agile. He was 6'6", almost 400 pounds, but he moved like a cat. He was just so quick. And I was like, I'm never going to win a bodybuilding competition, so I got to find my niche in the world of wrestling. And I tried. I borrowed a lot from Bam Bam Bigelow.
Yeah, I know you just mentioned Bret the Hitman Hart. I love him. He's such an awesome wrestler. He's my dad's favorite. He's so awesome.
When did you start watching wrestling? What was your first match did you ever saw?
I started watching WWE in, I think, when I was 2. And I first fell in love with John Cena, and I loved John Cena and Shawn Michaels. Those were my 2 favorites.
That's awesome. Shawn Michaels is great. When I was in WWE, I got to share a locker room with him, and nicest guy. I got to share a locker room with Bret Hart as well. Super nice guys, super professional, and they've inspired so many different people as well.
That's awesome. I can't even imagine being able to share a locker room with those 2 people. I would literally freak out.
Well, I'm still a fan too, so I'm kind of freaking out myself. I was trying to keep it cool, trying to not look like a fanboy, but inside I'm like, oh my God, But they were cool. They were very cordial. I've known John Cena forever too. I knew him before he went to the WWE, and he's the same guy now that he was back then. He never let anything any success change him or give him an ego or stuff like that. So he's a definitely good role model in the ring and in real life.
That's awesome, because I know a lot of people, if when they get big, it goes straight to their head and they get a big ego, and to hear that he didn't have a ego and he still doesn't, that's awesome.
Yeah, man, he's a great dude.
Yeah. All right. So, Meanie, if you have time, I want to.
I have all the time in the world for you, buddy.
All right. So, I want to start a new segment every week. I want to do Q&As with all my friends on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So my mom is gonna ask us the questions, and this segment is gonna be called Q&As with Giovanni. And yeah, let's get into the questions.
Awesome.
All right. First question is from Nathan on Instagram. He wants to know your all-time favorite NFL player.
Ooh, Brian Dawkins, because he just brings so much energy.
Yeah, man. I would go with, well, I don't want to be a copycat. I would say Brian Dawkins, but the man whose jersey I'm wearing right now, Mr. Jerome Brown. And the cool thing about Jerome Brown is we won the Super Bowl on his birthday. So the battle cry used to be back in the 90s. The battle cry was "Bring it home for Jerome." So we literally brought it home from Jerome when we won the Super Bowl. So I'll say Jerome Brown.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. Next is from Ben on Instagram. If you could have any player in the NFL play for the Eagles, who would it be?
Ooh, a lot of people are going to hate this answer, but I'm going to say Saquon Barkley, because get Miles Sanders and Saquon Barkley together and have both the Penn State boys together. That would be such an awesome thing to experience, and I think we could use 21 personnel with them. I think it would be an awesome thing to do.
And they could be like and since I'm a wrestler, they could be a good tag team. I would have to say, I'm going to take liberties and say from any generation, I would love to have Larry Fitzgerald or Fitzpatrick on the Eagles. There's two guys on that team. One's Fitzgerald, one's Fitzpatrick. I get a little confused, but Larry from the Cardinals, man, he would be talk about a timeless guy who's been playing all these years, and he hasn't slowed down one bit. And I wanted the Eagles to go after him back in the day, and they never went for him. So I wish he was on the Eagles. He would be like an all-time great receiver, because we haven't had a all-time receiver in a while. I mean, since like the Mike Quick days and stuff like that, where you could go, oh, that's our receiver. We had Deshaun, and then they traded him away. But I'll have to go with Larry.
That's a good answer.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, this one is specifically for the Blue Meanie.
Right.
From Maura on Facebook. She wants to know, when it comes to tackling, what types of wrestling techniques have you seen in the NFL, and should those types of hits be allowed in the NFL?
Most famously, there's two football tackles I've seen in pro wrestling. Hacksaw Jim Duggan used to do the 3-point stance, where he would get down like he was on the line and run up and do a big tackle. And more famously, Goldberg did the spear, because Goldberg used to play for the Atlanta Falcons, and he brought the spear over from the NFL into pro wrestling. So they're safe hits. So I would say they're allowed. The wrestling, the clothesline in professional wrestling that we use in wrestling was banned by the NFL. A lot of people don't know that, but yeah, back in the day, it used to be allowed, but too many guys were getting knocked out, so they banned the clothesline in football, but we could still use it in pro wrestling.
Yeah, I think in Super Bowl 52, I think Malcolm Jenkins did a power bomb on someone. I remember that.
The guy went to the guy was trying to show off and do a leapfrog, another wrestling move over him, and he said, and gave him a little power bomb. And then all the memes after that was people would Photoshop in a table of him putting him through a table and stuff like that. And the Dudley boys from WWE got in on that, saying he was stealing their move. So, yeah, man, that was so cool.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, next one is from Will on Facebook. He wants to know your all-time favorite wrestling match.
Ooh. All right. I thought about this one. I think it's the one with Mick Foley and The Undertaker, the Hell in a Cell.
Oh wow. Yeah, that was a crazy one, man.
Yeah.
Mick Foley got tossed off the side and then got choke slammed off there later.
Yeah.
So that's the one for you?
Yep.
That's your final answer? For me, I'm going to go all the way back to WrestleMania 3. If you got the WWE Network, you can watch this. It's Randy Savage versus Ricky Steamboat from WrestleMania 3. Spoiler alert, Ricky Steamboat wins the Intercontinental Championship. When I was a kid, before pay-per-view and you can watch wrestling in your house, we would have to go to a closed circuit location. You would buy an actual ticket and go to a theater and watch it on the big screen.
Really?
Yeah. And me and my grandfather went to the first 3 WrestleManias at Resorts Casino in Atlantic City. And then WrestleMania 4 and 5 went to Atlantic City. I went to both of those. But I saw Randy Savage, Ricky Steamboat at Resorts Casino on the big screen, and they broadcast it from Michigan. But it was just like being at the show because there's all these other people in the theater and they're jumping and yelling and cheering. But the storyline with that whole match of Ricky Steamboat coming back from an injury caused by Randy Savage and him finally getting his revenge. I shed a man tear for him. So, well, I was a kid, so it was a kid tear, but
Okay, next we have Ben on Facebook wants to know if you played in the NFL, what position would you play?
Ooh. I think cornerback because I like how you get to chase out the wide receivers and you get to have a chance at a turnover.
I'm going to defer to how I make myself in Madden football on on PlayStation. Probably a middle linebacker. I would love to, be a middle linebacker, break through the line and get a sack on the old quarterback there, or stuff a run, stuff like. I've always been a big fan of defensive players. And it wasn't until until our Super Bowl team that I actually bought an offensive player's jersey. I've always worn defensive players, so I got Alshon's jersey and I got Zach Ertz jersey. I got Wentz too, so I broke my own rule and got offensive players. But I'm a big fan of defense, so probably middle linebacker.
Yeah, I like the defense too. I know a lot about the offense, so now I'm trying to learn about the defense.
That's cool, man. Yeah, Philly's always been a big defensive town. Yeah. Buddy Ryan and Jim Johnson and stuff like that. I don't know what Schwartz is doing now. He was looking good for a second there, but hopefully he turns it around.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we have Amy on Facebook. Would you give Ertz a new deal and why?
Of course I would give Ertz a new deal, and the reason why is because he is a top 3 tight end. I don't know what the Eagles are doing with that. He hasn't performed very good this year, but that's because people are so worried about Ertz that they're double covering him, and he hasn't really gotten a shot at the ball.
You bring up a very good point that he's a top 3 tight end, and guys are always double teaming him. But there's been a lot of plays where people, fouled Ertz and it never got called. Like there was one interception a couple games ago, and Ertz was about to run his round. Some dude bumped him, and he couldn't get it, and the guy made an interception. I'm like, why wasn't there a flag called? But I'm going to just say, to answer the question, I would give Ertz a new deal, make it so he spends the rest of his career as an Eagle. But also, it's a bad year. Just 2020 all around has just been a bad year. You can't for whatever happens in the season, just put an asterisk next to it and just say, what happened that year? It's 2020. And people go, I understand. Say no more. But yeah, I mean, everybody has a bad year. You know, it's one bad year does not make the player. And Zach Ertz is a great player.
Yeah, Zach Ertz is the best.
I agree.
Okay, we got one more. This is from Philly Burner account on Twitter.
A good one.
He wants to know your thoughts on Wentz and Kelsey being the only healthy starters on our offense.
It's crazy, man. You know, there's always a lot of injuries in Philly, but this is crazy. I can't believe that there's only 2 offensive starters right now.
It's like it's Kelsey, it's Wentz, and a bunch of creative players on Madden just playing on the field. It's just look. I'm 47. I've been watching football since I was a kid, and just I can't recall a season like these last 2 seasons with the amount of injuries that they've had. It's unreal. That said, again, chalk it up to 2020. What happened that year? 2020. Forget it. I get it. You know, but that being said, Kelsey and Wentz being the only 2 healthy starters, and the fact that they almost beat the Baltimore Ravens and they almost beat, you know, the Steelers. You know, if Nate Gary could just stop that one touchdown. The fact that they played so well with the amount of injuries and everything that's going on, it just speaks to the character of this team and the coaches. The coaches are, it's basically the walking wounded out there. So, I mean, the fact that they're still in these games late, it just speaks volumes to the coaching and the will of the players. But, yeah, like I said, I think the next 3 games, they're going to get off into a roll. I'm going to root for them no matter what. You know, I've been through a lot of good and a lot of bad seasons. So I've seen them do some crazy stuff and have good runs. So it just takes one good big play to spark a run. Like, you know, Brian Westbrook, you know, doing the running back that touchdown to Meadowlands, and that sparked a run to the playoffs that year against the Giants, no less. So it just takes one good play to, you know, spark the team, and I think they'll be all right, even with injuries and everything.
Yeah, I think what a lot of people don't understand is that our division is so bad that we still have a chance at the playoffs. And I think if we get started now and we get to the top of our division, I think it'll change the guys' mojo and make them play super good, and we have a chance at the Super Bowl.
I would love if we won the worst division ever and made a run and won the Super Bowl just to annoy the living, annoy every single football fan in the world who are like, our team's, you know, 10-1 or whatever the record is. To annoy everybody else. I would laugh so hard. I would belly laugh. But yeah, that would be great. You know, I mean, you don't want to be the best of the worst, but if they went on a run and won the Super Bowl with a horrible record, I would just die from laughter.
That would be so funny. All right.
We should start that hashtag. Let's annoy the NFL or something like that.
Yeah. All right, Meanie. Thanks for being on, man. It means a lot.
Dude. Yeah, I mean, look, if you're giving me the wrap up sign, but you're giving me the hook. But I gotta say, man, before I get off here, I'm a big fan of you, Giovanni. You're a very special kid. I follow everything that gets posted on your Twitter and everything you've been through, the surgeries and all that stuff, and you always have a smile on your face. You know, growing up as a kid, I knew kids when I was 10 years old, and they were grumpy old men when they were 10. And you're 13, and you've been through more stuff than most adults have, and you never complain. And so I want to say with everything that's bad in 2020, you're the bright spot. You make me happy. You're an inspiration. And anytime I feel like I'm having a bad day, I'm like, well, Giovanni's smiling, so I got to smile too. So Mrs. Meanie says you have some sweet kicks too, some sweet sneakers. Mrs. Meanie's a big fan of your sneakers, your sneaker game. She's big into the sneakers. So Mrs. Meanie's a fan too. So I'm a big fan of yours. Keep doing what you're doing, man. I love you to death. And I can't praise you enough.
Oh, thank you. Where can everyone find your podcast? What's your podcast?
My podcast, which is right behind me, Mind of the Meanie. You can find it wherever you download podcasts. It drops every Monday at 6 a.m. If you're not family friendly, it's not family friendly. As Mrs. Meanie just reiterated, get earmuffs. Also, if you're not technically inclined to download a podcast, we dropped the episode on YouTube, so you can put it up on YouTube. We just did episode 30. Go to mindofthemeanie.com. You can follow my podcast at Mind of the Meanie on Twitter. You can follow myself, the Blue Meanie, at Blue Meanie BWO on Twitter and Instagram. If you want to support the Meanie, go to prowrestlingtees.com/Blue Meanie, and you get all my fine Blue Meanie wares.
All right. Thank you for being on, man.
Oh, thanks for having me, man. Hopefully, hopefully we get a win this Thursday, and I'll give you a virtual fist pump through Twitter.
Yeah. Go Birds.
Go Birds, my friend.